Ben-Hur, 1959, remains one of Hollywood's greatest epics, a timeless classic that captivated audiences with its intense drama and breathtaking chariot race. But what became of the legendary cast after more than 6 decades? From the iconic Charlton Heston to the unforgettable supporting actors, this journey through the lives of the stars offers surprising stories of fame, personal triumphs, and struggles. As we step into 2025, let's explore where these unforgettable faces are now and how their careers evolved after one of cinema's most celebrated films. Stephen Boyd, who portrayed Messala in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 28, brought to life a character who went from being Judah Ben-Hur's closest ally to a bitter rival driven by ambition and loyalty to Rome. Boyd's career had moments of success, but he often found himself typecast, which frustrated him and led him to regret the roles he was offered. His personal life mirrored the conflict of his character. Boyd was married twice, first to actress Elizabeth Pearson, but the marriage ended in divorce after just a few years. He remarried shortly after, but that relationship also faltered. Boyd struggled with emotional loneliness and bouts of depression, feeling like he had not fulfilled his potential as an actor. He also faced difficulties in maintaining his career and personal life, which weighed heavily on him. Tragically, Boyd died at the age of 45 from a heart attack on June 2, 1977, leaving behind a career of unrealized promise and personal sorrow, marking the untimely end of a life that had so much more to offer. Finley Curry, who played Balthasar in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 81, was a seasoned actor who brought wisdom and dignity to his role as one of the three magi. Despite his professional success, Curry's personal life was shadowed by grief. He lost his first wife, actress Millie Thomas, in 1933, a devastating blow that deeply affected him. Curry never remarried, and the loneliness of his later years was compounded by the absence of children. His health began to fail in the 1960s, and after a life filled with great achievements and personal sorrow, Curry passed away on May 9, 1968 at the age of 90 from natural causes. His life ended quietly, leaving behind a legacy of emotional depth and tragic loss. His life was one of resilience, but also of enduring sadness and solitude. Helen Herit, who portrayed the devoted Esther in Ben-Hur at the age of 28, embodied grace and unwavering loyalty in her role. Her career in the 1960s included notable films, but she struggled to maintain a consistent presence in Hollywood. Herit married businessman Shmuel Herit in 1963, but their marriage ended in divorce, and they had no children together. Though she remained active in acting, her career never reached the heights many had predicted. The loss of her marriage seemed to send her into a retreat from public life, and she grew more reclusive in her later years. While her portrayal of Esther, a character marked by her steadfastness and love, remained one of her most beloved roles, Herit's personal life reflected much of the sorrow and solitude her character faced. She passed away on February 3, 2021, at the age of 89, from natural causes. Martha Scott, who portrayed Miriam in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 47, played the role of a mother who endures great suffering yet remains a beacon of love and strength for her son Judah. In contrast, Scott's personal life was marked by emotional hardships. Though her career flourished, her marriage to writer Robert Ardrey was troubled and eventually ended in divorce. After their separation, she faced the pain of his death in 1980, which deeply affected her. As the years went on, Scott battled with depression, compounded by the loss of friends and family members. Despite the outward appearance of a long and successful career, her personal life was marked by emotional pain and a sense of longing for what could have been. She passed away at the age of 90 on May 28, 2003, from natural causes, leaving behind a life defined by quiet grief and professional success that never fully shielded her from personal tragedy. Hugh Griffith, who played Sheikh Ilderim in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 47, portrayed a wise and charismatic character who played a key role in Judah Ben-Hur's journey. However, Griffith's own life was far more turbulent. While his career was highlighted by significant accomplishments, including an Academy Award for the Best of Everything in 1962, his personal life was filled with struggles. Griffith battled alcoholism for much of his life, which affected his relationships and career. His first marriage to actress Ursula Sard ended in divorce after years of conflict, and his second marriage was also rocky. The toll of his vices and failed relationships became increasingly evident in his later years, and his health began to decline. Griffith died from a heart attack on May 14, 1980, at the age of 67. Jack Hawkins, who played the stern Roman commander Quintus Arrius in Ben-Hur at the age of 49, delivered a performance that balanced authority and compassion. His career was thriving in the 1950s and 1960s, but Hawkins faced unimaginable personal and professional struggles. In the early 1960s, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, which affected both his personal life and career. Despite his best efforts, the disease left him unable to speak without the help of a voice box, forcing him to rely on voice doubling in his later films. His marriage to actress Dorothy Bradley ended in 1954, and his private life was marred by his long battle with cancer. As his condition worsened, Hawkins' once dominant presence on screen dwindled, and he became increasingly isolated. Jack Hawkins died on July 18, 1973, at the age of 62, after complications from surgery related to his throat cancer. Cathy ODonnell, who played Tirzah in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 36, brought a touching vulnerability to her role as Judah Ben-Hur's sister, a character who endures immense suffering with grace. Tragically, O'Donnell's personal life was filled with heartache. She married actor John Ireland, but their relationship was marked by tension and unhappiness, leading to a separation. They had no children, which added to her sense of isolation. Her health began to deteriorate in the late 1960s, and O'Donnell was diagnosed with cancer. She passed away in 1970 at the age of 46 from a cerebral hemorrhage, a devastating consequence of the illness. Her death left many in the industry mourning a talented actress whose potential was never fully realized. Charlton Heston, who portrayed Judah Ben-Hur in the 1959 film at the age of 36, became one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. Judah is a determined and vengeful character who ultimately seeks redemption, a journey that mirrored Heston's own life. While his career flourished with roles in films like The Ten Commandments and Planet of the Apes, Heston's personal life was more complex. Married to Lydia Clark in 1944, they had 2 children, but his fame often distanced him emotionally from his family. In later years, Heston faced the devastating challenge of Alzheimer's disease, which slowly stripped him of the sharp mind that had once made him a cinematic legend. Despite his public fight with the illness, Heston remained active in politics and advocacy, but his final years were marked by physical and emotional decline. He passed away on April 5, 2008, at the age of 84, from complications due to pneumonia. Sam Jaffe, who portrayed Simonides in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 68, gave a powerful performance as a wise, loyal servant to Judah Ben-Hur. However, his personal life was marked by deep sadness. After the death of his first wife, Margaret, in 1955, Jaffe struggled with profound grief, which overshadowed much of his personal and professional life. His second and third marriages were also marked by difficulty and separation. Jaffe's health began to decline in his later years, and in the early 1980s, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He fought the disease bravely, but it ultimately took his life in 1984 at the age of 93. His legacy lives on through his performances, but his final years were filled with personal and physical battles. George Relf, who played the imposing Tiberius Caesar in Ben-Hur at the age of 71, was an actor known for his commanding stage and screen presence. His portrayal of the Roman emperor, whose decisions shaped the fate of many, was memorable for its weight and authority. However, Relf's personal life was marked by isolation, as he never married or had children. Despite a career full of respected roles in both theater and film, Relf led a solitary life, spending his final years withdrawn from the public eye. he faced the natural decline of old age and the loneliness that often accompanies it, which affected his health and emotional state. Ralph passed away on April 24, 1960, at the age of 72, just 1 year after Ben-Hur was released. His death, though from natural causes, was a quiet and lonely end to a distinguished career, with little recognition for his personal struggles, marking the close of a life spent mostly in solitude. Frank Thring, who portrayed Pontius Pilate in Ben-Hur at the age of 33, brought to life the conflicted Roman governor, torn between his duty and his own moral compass. Pilate's eventual decision to condemn Jesus to death mirrored Thring's own struggles in life. Thring had a distinguished career, with roles in films like The Desert Rats and The Man from the First Century, but his personal life was marked by painful relationships. His first marriage to actress Elizabeth Brown ended in divorce, and his second marriage to Australian actress Anne Hattie also fell apart. Thring's later years were marred by illness, particularly a prolonged battle with cancer, which gradually diminished his health and career. He passed away on December 29, 1994, at the age of 68, leaving behind a career defined by powerful performances, but a life overshadowed by personal tragedies and a slow, painful decline due to illness. Terrence Long, who portrayed Drusus in Ben-Hur at the age of 37, brought to life the character of Messala's ambitious and loyal aide, deeply embedded in the political and military dynamics of the Roman Empire. His portrayal of Drusus was defined by ambition, loyalty, and a desire for recognition, but Longden's own life was filled with personal and professional turmoil. Longden had a solid film career with notable roles in films like The Importance of Being Earnest and The Happy Thieves, but his personal life was fraught with difficulty. His first marriage to actress June Laverick ended in divorce, and his second marriage also faced challenges, leaving him with a sense of personal loss. In his later years, Longden faced the debilitating effects of cancer, which not only affected his health but also led to his withdrawal from public life. He passed away on April 23, 2011, at the age of 88, after battling the disease for years. Andre Morel, who played Sextus in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 50, embodied the role of a Roman officer whose unwavering loyalty to Rome ultimately put him at odds with Judah Ben-Hur. While Morel was a respected actor, his career never reached the heights of some of his contemporaries, leaving him with a lingering sense of missed potential. His personal life was marked by turbulence, most notably the end of his marriage to actress Alma Cogan. Their separation was deeply painful for Morel, and the tragic death of Cogan in 1966 only deepened his grief. Struggling emotionally and physically, Morel was diagnosed with lung cancer, a diagnosis that led to a slow and painful decline. Despite his immense talent, Morel passed away on November 28, 1978, at the age of 69, his death a quiet and somber conclusion to a life filled with unfulfilled potential and emotional wounds. Audie Berber, who played Malik in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 46, was known for his portrayal of a loyal servant, one who stood by Judah Ben-Hur through thick and thin. In real life, Berber's own loyalty to his craft was overshadowed by a series of personal struggles. Despite his promising career, he faced significant financial hardship, often struggling to make ends meet. His marriage to actress Lyanna Orfei ended in a bitter divorce, leaving him emotionally distraught. This personal turmoil was compounded by a long battle with depression, which left him feeling isolated and detached. The early death of both of his parents only deepened his sense of loneliness. Berber's health began to deteriorate, and he passed away on January 3, 1966, at the age of 52 after battling a tumor. His untimely death marked the tragic end of a life burdened by personal and financial struggles, leaving behind a legacy of unfulfilled potential. Robert Brown, who played the chief of rowers in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 38, portrayed a strict and authoritative figure, commanding the galley slaves with a firm hand. Yet, his own life seemed to mirror the sternness of his role, with little room for happiness. Brown married but faced a series of personal challenges. His marriage was short-lived, and he found himself struggling to build a family of his own, as it was marked by emotional distance and ultimately separation. Despite a long and varied career in film and television, including significant roles in major productions, Brown's life was often overshadowed by financial difficulties and personal loss. As he grew older, his health began to fail, and he passed away on November 11, 2003, at the age of 82, quietly succumbing to natural causes. He left behind a legacy of tough characters that belied his own personal struggles. Emma Barron, who portrayed the Jewish woman in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 55, brought warmth and compassion to her character, offering solace and support to those in need. In contrast, her personal life was far from serene. After a long and tumultuous marriage to actor Reginald Purtle, which ended in a painful divorce, Barron's life became marked by loss and isolation. The death of her eldest son in a tragic car accident devastated her, leaving a deep emotional scar that she struggled to overcome. Despite a successful acting career, she faced emotional loneliness in her later years, compounded by declining health. Emma Barron passed away on March 7, 1986, at the age of 81 from undisclosed causes, her death a quiet ending to a life marred by personal tragedy and emotional turmoil. Marina Berti, who portrayed Flavia in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 35, played the role of a graceful and dignified Roman noblewoman, embodying the elegance and poise of aristocracy. However, Berti's own life was far from as composed as her characters. She married actor and director Luigi Zampa, but their marriage was filled with turmoil, resulting in emotional strain. Despite having children, the couple's relationship was never truly happy, and they eventually divorced. Berti's life became increasingly shadowed by illness. She battled cancer for years before succumbing to the disease on October 29, 2002, at the age of 78. Her final years were marked by loneliness and suffering, with the once vibrant actress reduced to a silent struggle. Her life ended in quiet sorrow, an echo of the grandeur of her on-screen roles but lacking the joy she had portrayed. Lyanna Del Balo, who portrayed the guest at banquet in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 60, played a minor yet memorable role, adding a touch of grandeur to the opulent Roman banquet scene. Although her role was small, Del Balo's life outside of the screen was filled with hardship. Despite being married, her personal life was marked by prolonged periods of loneliness and emotional pain. She never had children, and her marriage was often tumultuous, filled with arguments that eventually led to separation. Del Balo's career also faced its own struggles. Despite her notable role in Ben-Hur, she found it difficult to secure significant parts in later years. Her health declined slowly over time, and she passed away on March 26, 1982, at the age of 83 from undisclosed causes, leaving behind a legacy of fleeting but powerful moments in film. Enzo Firmant, who portrayed the galley officer in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 51, embodied the harsh, iron-fisted character who mercilessly oversaw the slaves. Off-screen, Firmant's life was equally marked by rigidity and control, but it was also filled with tragedy. Firmant's marriage was a constant source of pain, as it was rife with abuse and emotional distance. He had children, but the relationship with them was never a joyful one, as the same coldness that defined his character in Ben-Hur seemed to infect his family life. Firmant's career, while notable, was never as fruitful as it could have been, leaving him resentful of the roles he was offered. His final years were marked by solitude and health struggles. Firmant passed away on March 22, 1993, at the age of 84 due to natural causes, but his life left a trail of personal tragedy and unfulfilled potential. Lando Bazan, who portrayed the Jewish slave in the desert in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 24, represented the plight and resilience of the oppressed in his brief yet poignant role. Bazan's life, however, was marred by personal hardships. He never fully found peace in his personal relationships. His marriages were fraught with difficulties, and despite having children, his family life was far from stable. Bazan's career never reached the heights of his early years, and his later life was marked by declining health and mounting frustrations with the industry. His most significant tragedy came when he fell and suffered complications that led to his death on December 18, 2022, at the age of 87. His final years were spent struggling with the consequences of his fall, leaving him isolated and in pain. Bazan's life was one of enduring hardship, a far cry from the resilient character he once portrayed. Juliano Gemma, who portrayed the Roman officer with Messala in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 21, became widely recognized in Italian cinema for his disciplined portrayal of a character embodying the might and order of the Roman Empire. His role mirrored the strict and loyal nature of the Roman military, but off-screen, Gemma's life was far from orderly. Despite his early success, his personal life was filled with heartbreak. His marriage to Nicoletta ended in divorce after years of struggle, and his second marriage also faced turmoil, eventually leading to separation. These personal battles were overshadowed by a turbulent career path, where he grappled with both rising fame and setbacks in his film roles. Gemma found success in spaghetti westerns, but the scars of personal pain remained. Tragically, on October 1, 2013, at the age of 75, Gemma's life was cut short in a devastating car accident. His passing reflected the harsh twists of fate he experienced in both love and life. Mino Doro, who played the character of Gratus in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 56, was a stern and commanding Roman official, whose actions indirectly set the stage for Judah Ben-Hur's tragic downfall. Doro's life mirrored the cold, authoritative nature of his character. Although he had a successful career in film, it was marred by the emotional turmoil in his personal life. Doro's marriage was plagued by constant disagreements, and he struggled with balancing his work life with his home life. He had children, but his relationship with them was strained, as his emotional distance created an environment where true closeness was nearly impossible. As he grew older, Doro's career faded, and his health deteriorated. The actor who once commanded attention on screen struggled in silence with his personal battles, ultimately passing away on April 13, 1992, at the age of 88 from natural causes. Claude Heer, who portrayed Jesus, the Christ in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 32, embodied a serene and divine character, symbolizing peace, hope, and redemption. His portrayal left a lasting impression, but behind the scenes, his life was filled with struggles and sadness. Though his role as Jesus marked a pinnacle in his career, Heer's personal life never reached the same level of fulfillment. He faced multiple failed relationships, and his career path, while significant, did not provide the stability he had hoped for. As he aged, Heer's health deteriorated, battling cardiovascular disease, which cast a long shadow over his final years. Despite his enduring legacy as the face of Christ, Heer's life was one marked by emotional hardship, professional setbacks, and the gradual decline of his health. He passed away on May 28, 2020, at the age of 92, leaving a complex legacy filled with both reverence and the quiet struggles he faced throughout his life. Duncan Lamont, who played Marius in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 41, portrayed a character whose ambition and loyalty to the Roman Empire created complex drama. Lamont's own life, however, was filled with personal heartache. His marriage to actress Barbara Mullen fell apart after years of infidelity and bitter emotional turmoil. The couple's separation was an agonizing process, and Lamont's mental health suffered deeply from the strain. His career, although steady, never truly reached the heights it might have, and by the 1970s, Lamont began to retreat from the public eye. His declining health, worsened by depression, led to a heart attack that claimed his life on December 19, 1978, at the age of 60. Lamont's tragic end was overshadowed by a life of emotional scars and unrealized dreams, leaving behind a legacy tinged with regret. José Garai, who played Mary in Ben-Hur in 1959 at the age of 19, brought to life the character of Mary with a gentle and compassionate presence. As the mother of Jesus, her role exuded purity and maternal love, but her personal life was marked by deep sorrow. After her role in Ben-Hur, Garai's career had its peaks but was also overshadowed by personal struggles, including a brief and painful marriage that ended in divorce. This left her emotionally scarred, and her subsequent relationships were also fraught with difficulty. Garai found solace in her acting but often wrestled with feelings of isolation and heartache as she navigated life under the public's watchful eye. She passed away on June 1, 2017, at the age of 77 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy that mirrored her character's strength yet also bore the quiet sadness of her personal battles and solitude. John Horsley, who portrayed Spinno in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 39, brought a touch of comic relief to the film with his portrayal of a cowardly and superstitious character. In contrast to his light-hearted role, Horsley's personal life was filled with darker moments. He married actress Joan Miller, but their union ended in a bitter divorce after years of unresolved conflicts and emotional strain. Despite 2 children from the marriage, Horsley struggled with the loss of his family life and never remarried. His career continued into the 1970s and beyond, but he never achieved the kind of success that might have matched his early potential. As time passed, the actor became increasingly reclusive. He died on January 12, 2014, at the age of 93 from natural causes, his later years marked by quiet solitude and a sense of missed opportunities. John Le Mesurier, who played the wise and compassionate doctor in Ben-Hur, 1959, at the age of 47, was beloved for his kind and gentle demeanor on screen. Off-screen, however, his personal life was fraught with sorrow. His marriage to actress Hattie Jacques, despite being a high-profile union, was marred by infidelity and emotional distance. The breakdown of their relationship was devastating for both, with Jacques eventually passing away in 1980. Le Mesurier's later years were marked by a series of personal struggles, including a second tumultuous marriage and ongoing grief over Jacques' death. He also battled alcoholism, which contributed to his deteriorating health. He passed away on November 15, 1983, at the age of 71, from a stomach hemorrhage caused by cirrhosis of the liver. Le Mesurier's life ended in sadness and regret, overshadowed by the emotional toll of his personal losses. Who is your favorite character from Ben-Hur? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.